Okay. Good evening, everybody.
So I can say any money.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Hello. Good evening. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, please signify.
Good evening, sir.
Okay. Uh, welcome everyone. Welcome to
Thank you, sir.
tonight's webinar. I hope you can all hear me.
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining up. Thank you so much for being available. Today's webinar is just to talk to us on building a sustainable wealth on plantain farming. So we have a couple of us joining us here. We welcome you so much. We're still expecting quite a lot of people uh, to join us in this call. So we'll be seeing them turn in as time progresses. But before we start, we'll just use a little of our time to await quite a good number of them to actually join us right here. So while we expect quite a lot of people to join us right here,
Thank you. Good evening,
Government
everyone.
Solutions is providing so many agricultural services with regards to sustainable agriculture towards sustainable investments in cashew as well as plantain farming. So there's so many other areas where Dovma Solutions actually plays in providing services in, but one of the primary ones that at least has your interest in hand is in building sustainable wealth in agriculture through plantain farming and cashew farming and everything that is tied within that value chain. So, with regards to that, this particular interactive section is to talk to us more on the secrets to having a viable business model with regards to cashew and plantain. Well, today we'll just be going on with regards to plantain farming. So we'll be getting more info about this, knowing about the secrets in the business model, secrets with regards to exports, with regards to how much that is being consumed in Nigeria generally. And most of this will be brought to us by none other than the CEO of Dofna Integrated Agritech Services, which is in the person of Mr. Adeni Shoyemi. I myself, I am Oyerindo Oluwaseun, and I will just be part of the host for this particular webinar. And we're hoping that for as many of us who will be here with us tonight, we'll be having a great time. It will be a time well spent, and we will be at least would have quite a lot to consider as gains for joining us tonight. So do well to, I don't know how many of us have received if you have the invite link with you, do well to share the invite link to as many within your network space so that they can be here. Of course, it's quite a good thing when you share opportunities for others to be able to grow wealth and they're able to access that information just the same way you can. So do well to share it so that we can get as many people here. And we're ready to see many people turn up to at least get to understand what it's involved in sustainable wealth production through plantain farming. So without further ado, I want Mr. Adini to give us a brief introduction of himself and then we'll start today's program there. So Mr. Adini, are you here with us?
Yeah, good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir.
I'm Adeni Shuremi, and I will be the main anchor for or the main host for the program, and we'll be talking about sustainable wealth in planting, and how to build that system over several years, and to ensure that you're able to generate enough income as it would surface for you, depending on what extent or to what level you want that income to come in from planting. So that's the basic thing we'll be discussing. We'll touch down on the production, understanding the dynamics of how plantain is being produced in terms of the farming activities, understanding how to penetrate the markets, to be able to take these goods from your farm gates down to where it is most needed, and then seeing how you can automate these processes with as little stress in the farming procedure as possible. We're going to be talking about the partnership with processors and how to locate them, when to locate them in the farming processes, at what time do you want to locate them for partnership, and all of that in between. The current value of this product on the market, what time are the best time for this product to be sold, what time are the low period where there's glut in the market. Are you going to go in for the open market or the closed market? These are things we're going to be talking about, and how to now automate all the things you've learned and you're putting into practice, and where to start from right now. I think that fits as the summary of what we're discussing. Sean, is that good enough as a brief?
Yes, wonderful, sir. Wonderful. I believe that everyone that has indeed listened to that brief has indeed caught on with what is necessary to be learned today. So at least everyone has an inkling on what they will be gaining from today's webinar. So just like I said earlier, do share, do pass the information around so that we can get as many people here as possible. Wanna Okay, I think I'm receiving a lot of invites already. So thank you so much, everyone, for doing your best to share and making sure that this invite goes around. So yes, today before Mr. Adini gets to indeed take us more on many of the information which we'll be finding out, I want to do our best to ensure that how many of us do have one or two uh, if you've practiced agriculture practically, I want to get one or two information with regards to those who have been involved in it practically from anyone. Is there anyone in the house right now who has actually done one or two things with regards to agriculture, especially with the plantain and cashew value chain? So we want to know if there's one or two experiences in the house currently. So anyone, you can just signify or mute your mic and just tell us about it before we proceed. Okay, so it seems that there are not so much plantain experts around right now. So anyway, thank God we do have an expert in this particular uh, viable chain, this particular value chain, and in presence of Mr. Adeni, and we have quite a lot who there's quite a lot that he would be feeding us with tonight. So without further ado, Mr. Adeni, I think we've gotten quite a good number of people in the call already. So without further ado, I'll just want to tell, okay, I just want to say that you should kick off and let's get the webinar on the way, sir.
Wonderful, wonderful. Um, I think we can go forward then. I was expecting to get quite a number of responses in terms of the farming, those that have done things as before now. But of course, beautiful will get to speak, and then hopefully we'll get to hear more people talk about their personal experiences as regarding how farming had been up until this time. So primarily, first thing you want to understand why this whole content is coming out at this time. So over time before now, agriculture had been a long age activities by many. Some of our families have been into it for years. Some of our family members, our friends have been into it, and we've gotten so much information. We get to hear things like, "Oh, it's profitable on one side of the spectrum," and on another side of the spectrum, we've had the difficulties that come with farming as a practice. And this is not something that is limited to a certain few number of people. Some have experienced the good side of farming. Some have seen the terrible side of farming. But what differentiates all of these people? Well, I'll tell you, it is the mind. Can farming be challenging? Yes. Particularly if you're new to it, one, or you don't have a set framework. So what is a framework? It's a set of activities, program, events that you've pre-planned, and you've been able to perfect it over several processes. For example, a framework could look like how your farm is set in place. What settings does your farm carry? Now, sometimes in this instance, to get a perfect framework, you might have done maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 years of that same activities, and you've need to understand that this is the perfect one that work. And because it's the perfect one that work, you've been able to now document these processes to ensure that there are no surprises in the future. Now, these frameworks are created over time. So those that succeed, you get to now understand that they have certain frameworks that help achieve certain level of success. Now, to others that have challenges, right? Some of them have not even experienced any form of framework. There's no structure for most of them, and they farm by informations, no practical informations. One thing about farming is you're allowed, or it's tenable to say, "Oh, I have challenge in the first years. Second year, not so much, and the third year, you should not be having challenges anymore." That's if you want to go in and say, I want to learn by practice. But if you're not learning by practice, you're learning by set frameworks. You don't go through 1, 2, 3 years of challenges. You just go in. Everything you're supposed to encounter, someone is working by you. And that's because you're using a framework from that person that already worked before now. So people's experience in agriculture is largely personal, based on different people that they've encountered and what story they've told them. Some have not even gone to it at all, and all they have is what people tell them. But this is the truth. If farming is not productive, it won't be employing over 70% of farmers in Africa and over 40% of the global population, right? And these are research you can confirm yourself on the internet. So in Africa, of course, more Africans do farming than it is outside Africa. So farming in itself has been viable before now, and it will keep being viable after now. People are now even looking at great ways to add technology to it. For example, from our company, what we do is largely tech-driven. From the way we document all our processes to how we organize our activities are largely tech-driven. And that's because of who we are as a person. Now, there are many more people out there that are using tech to drive farming. But no matter how much tech you had, there's a fundamental that farming as an activity must take place. And if that farming must take place, then you must know what you're doing, else you're going to lose a lot of money. So I want to tell you that farming is wonderful. However, there are processes to it. And that is what you've come here to learn. But we're now focusing on plantain instead. 2 days ago or 3 days ago, we focused on cashew, right? Today we're focusing on plantain. You see, what we do typically is niche. Dofma as a company is niched, and we do only limited number of things per se. And so what we do is we don't talk about things we don't do. We only focus on the things we do, because that is the best place we can give you advice from. Of course, we have knowledge about a lot of sub-activities under agriculture. You talk about vegetables, we've done that in the past. We talk about livestock, we've done several parts of that in the past. We've helped people set up systems and farm for all of them. But why we're not talking about them actively, even though we still help people to achieve them, because they are not our main forte. And there are shifting frameworks happening there that could actually even outdate what we are giving out. But in terms of cashew, bee farming, snail farming, and plantain farming, our frameworks are always updated, and so they are not out of tune. So that's where we talk most of the time from. So it doesn't look like, you told me this and then it didn't work for me. No, that is not how it works. We tell you things we do every day, and it's working for us. It should work for you. By God's grace, Dofma is 4 years this year. The mother company of Dofma, which is there, we show is over 5 years, about 6 years. And me as an individual, I've got over 7 years worth of experience in the agriculture sector. I've worked with the likes of JTEX Global, Accord agencies, and the rest. I've done consultation in the same agriculture sector for other companies. I've been involved in USDA projects that's to do with agriculture. I have quite extensive skills. You want to check more about me, you Google my name on Google, you place my name on Google, and then you see 1 or 2 things about me. And if that is not enough, you could check LinkedIn and see my profile. So when I tell you that I've gotten quite a number of exposure, both nationally and internationally on agriculture, you can believe when I say that. So when I talk about this few things I want to talk about. It's not because they are practical knowledge. They are things that have worked for us as an individual and is working for those we've partnered with. So talking about how to build sustainable wealth with plantain farming, it's simple. Plantain is a perennial project. You don't build sustainable wealth through short-time projects. Well, in agriculture, there are different kinds of crop. There's perennial, there's annual, and there's biennial. Now, the annual crops are very popular because you produce them in seconds, literally, also not seconds, in months rather. Maize is 2 months to 4-5 months. There are 1.5 months maize, there's 2.5 month maize, there's 3 months maize, and there's 4 month maize. It depends on what kind of things you want to use that maize for. And it depends on the kind of breed that maize is. There are beans as well. I remember in 2018, I was in Kaduna and they showed me 48 days maturing beans. I opened my mouth. I've never seen that before that day. 48 days. And that's literally 1 month and 18 days, right? So, and that beans is there. Over there in the north, Kaduna particularly, Kaduna, Sokoto, those are two places you usually see those kind of beans. Of course, we eat them, but we don't even know that that is the kind of beans that they are. So there are different innovation in agriculture every time, but these are annual crops. They grow within 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months. Now, outside this, there are also crop that grows on a 1 to 2 years basis. Those ones are what we call biennial crops. They take more than a year, but they grow less than 2 years, right? And you have sometimes yam can be in that angle. It depends on how your yam is being produced. Yam could be there, cocoyam could be there, but cocoyam also can be positioned to become a perennial project. It depends on the mind. And then we have the perennial ones: oil palm, cashew, shea butter, walnuts. All of these things are perennial projects. Almond, and so on and so forth. All these ones are perennial projects. Tree farming are perennial projects. White wood, as thick and melina farming, they're all perennial projects. They happen either for years or every year, and they're consistent. So you want to build sustainable wealth, it is typical that the perennial projects are where you build sustainable wealth from. So plantain is in that league of events. You get to produce plantain year in, year out for as many years as possible. And all you will see eventually is that if you're doing it adequately well, you can depend on this money to come in at certain points in time. You can always have this money to do what you need to do when you need to do them. And also you can budget them for expansion. And that is why it is worth noting. You can start with 1 acre today, 1 acre with almost 1,000 high density plantain suckers, and in just 5 years, you have multiplied that over 10 acres without buying new suckers. That is how prolific plantain can be as a product in itself. Because when a plantain goes down, typically what you experience is that it comes back up with probably 4, 5 shoots. Now, 4, 5 shoots, all you need in that space is probably 2. You don't. If you're already into high density plantain farm, it means that you don't have a room to allow too many to come up next time. So what you do is you typically remove the 3 remaining, you leave 2 there, and then take that 3 to other farm sites in the first year, multiply them, and as that happens, you keep multiplying your farm, and in less than 5 years, you've covered 10, 15 acres, depending on how many land you have to expand into. Now, these are how you get your wealth stated. There's a man in Oshun, one of our partners, that we are actually partnering with across our farm estates, that currently right now does over 400 million worth of transaction in plantain annually. This is not processing, this is just cultivating. He is a farmer, not a processor. Of course, he partnered with some Chinese company to deliver his plantain to them. His farm are scattered across Osun State in Nigeria, and that is what it does. He has in Bogon. Of course, if you are from Bogon, you easily know what I'm talking about. But then he has farm across Osun State, in Bogon, in Ife, across different places. And every year he does over 4 million worth of transaction in plantain from both the sucker selling and both the product selling. And what I'm trying to say is this man's children are not in Nigeria. Schooling, of course, not that is a yardstick of success, but then they are schooling abroad. Obviously, you want them to afford the best of education. But this man can afford it. Now, the honest truth is, he is a simple man. He's a pastor, by the way, and he collects salary from the church as his normal salary. He collects that on on-boost basis because the money he makes personally are far beyond. So all I'm trying to say is you can build sustainable wealth. And if your children are willing, they will take this business from you and equally multiply it. With all of that intro coming now, coming to the basis, how do you produce this plantain? Because everything starts with production. Whether you're coming in as an investor into the system for plantain, or you want to do the farm yourself, it starts with production. So what are the stages of producing plantain as a whole? First, you want to get suckers, right? You want to get land first. The land is number one, actually. I should have stayed with land. You want to get land first. Now, not all lands are great, but a well-drained, well-aerated land that has a good humus activity is good for your plantain. Not to hard rock, you want to stay from hard pan lands. If it's sodic, make sure that sodic is semi-sodic, not fully sodic land. You want to stay from hard pan land as well. You want to make sure that land does not have a lot of rock. So, because if you have stay around rocky land, it may affect the development of your plantain. And if during dry season, they could easily die off. So you want to stay in a well-aerated land where there's access to water as well, as much as possible. And that is the land you need. Southwest has a lot of those lands, so you can just get that from anywhere. If you have that land before now, beautiful. You can easily call us to test your land. We have a testing kit you can easily bring to your farm and test one or two things about the soil and tell you what you need to add. You may need, your land may just be lacking maybe phosphorus or one or two of the nutrients out there. We don't mind. We can actually help you test that. You can reach out to us later. I'll ask you to leave our email and official phone number on the chat, or can carry that right now. And of course, if you're always with us, either through our groups, you can easily reach out to us privately. Any of the admin would do. So you are having all of that in place, all of the farming or land system in place. Next thing first, you want to produce. There are two ways to put your plantain to the ground. Either you're going to be building your own suckers or you'll be buying suckers. There are two ways. When you want to get your own suckers and you don't have a plantain farm before, the first thing you want to do is you want to multiply your suckers. Why is multiplication different from buying? Well, in multiplication, you want to make sure that you get as many suckers as when you need it. Many suckers as when you need it, not just, how would I call it? Some suckers finish again, you need to buy new suckers. These issues, you don't want to have them. So that's why you multiply your own suckers to ensure that when you need your suckers, you get them from where you're multiplying from. But then you may like, I have only 1 acre, 2 acres. That will not be economic. Beautiful. Buy your suckers. Now, suckers typically right now in between 200 and 300 to 400, depending on where you're buying it from and the type of breed you're buying. So typically, you want to have all of these things in place. Now, if you're buying, you buy as many as you need. If it's high density, an acre can take as much as 1,000, between 800 and 1,000 suckers for 1 acre if it's high density. If it's low density, you're talking about 400 to 600 plantain sucker. If it's medium density or average density plantain farm. So after you've gotten the suckers, you want to plant them. After you're done planting them, you want to make sure that if it's towards dry season, like you're planting around August, September, kindly find irrigation in place and put them there. Irrigate the farm. It's very, very important because when dry season coming, it's going to be too much for your tender suckers and may kill them. But if you're planting around, say like March, April, beautiful. The rain can help you give them a lot of development before dry season comes around, and then they'll get to survive. Now, once you've gone to planting, you manage the farm as usual, which is normal. You weed it out in and out. You want to make sure the weeding is done appropriately. If it's a place where weed grows a lot because of the rain, you want to weed almost every 2 weeks to 1 month. If it's a place where there's not a lot of rainfall, but the land is good and so the plantains are surviving, you want to weed every month. Now, these are manual practices you want to put in place. You want to spray the farm when due with insecticide to prevent them. You want to put an nematicide. It's very, very important. Nematicide actually and fungicide, you want to do them because they don't want them to build in the roots. But you don't put them anyhow. You have to look at signs and symptoms on your farm first. So you don't overly do your so the workers. Outside, I want to make sure that your workers are apt with the work on the farm, right? And this is where the framework now comes in production. The framework is about everything your farm is. You know, I was talking about framework early, that determines if a farm is successful or not. This framework has a set of activities that put your farm as an automated system. Now, looking for workers, this is why I talk about the framework. Before you start your farm, you need to understand that depending on the size of land, you need an attendant, you need a manager. Now, what would the job of the attendants be? The attendants manage the day-to-day activities of the farm in terms of the wetting of the land, in terms of the weeding, in terms of more planting, or everything that has to do with day-to-day activities of your farm. The attendant handles that. The manager come and inspect, supervise, and document processes as they happen in real time. Now, why are these two important? A lot of farm will say, no, it's going to increase our money. We'll spend more. Yes, so you will spend more. That's why I don't usually talk about all of this. That's why we're not even in the annual game. Because annual crop like maize, beans, and many of them cannot afford these prices because it's too costly. And if it's too costly, it will affect your overall output cost. And if it affects your overall output cost, you would be forced to charge higher. And that might not give you an edge in the market because someone that actually reduces his own processes will come and sell at cheaper value and you'll be lost. And you can't keep a product, you can't eat them by yourself. So that's why annual producers might have issues adopting our framework. But those in the perennial business, the first year you get to spend, and don't shoot yourself in the leg by mincing too much. You need the farm manager, an attendant. If it's 1 acre you're doing, maybe only an attendant will do, but make sure that the attendant at least understand how to write and read and write. If you can't even get an attendant that know how to use digital tools, make sure that he or she can read and write at least. If you want to limit yourself to just one attendant because it's 1 acre farm, it's okay. If you have any stringent work, employ daily laborers, they take care of it and then they leave. That's okay. But if you are handling more than 5 acres, for any reason, should your land be more than 5 acres or you're cultivating more than 5 acres, please have an attendant and a supervisor, a manager. Now, have both of them in place. Let record be taken. The record should not just be sent to you in papers. Let it be digitally sent to you. Now, so you can understand how your family is doing every day. If, for example, you missed 1 day reports or 2 days reports, hello, manager, I didn't get today's reports, yesterday's reports. It may be simple that, sir, there was not much that happened on the farm. Then we did 1 acre, we did half acre. And there's not much after that. Tell your manager, I want that report also. It doesn't matter if you carry a pin of water, let there be a report for it. It is very important because if there is any anomaly, that report is where you see it first. And you, as the owner of the farm, try to get there once every 2 weeks. It is normal. It is not normal. It is super important. Ensure that the reports you are getting, wherever you're getting it from, is accurate and consistent. Always reflects what is happening on the field. Now, this is where the framework matters the most. If there's no structuring on your farm is gonna live like any other farm. And this is where the key is. After you have all of the system and you start selling things, this framework system also ensures that you sell adequately well. You have records of how you sell, what comes in. Of course, you've documented all that goes out from you in terms of spending. This framework also helps you to get what you have made over time from the system. And that is how you know how you spend, from how you expand from, and how you utilize what you've gotten as a profit from it. Now, if, for example, you are okay, I want to be the main farmer. Beautiful, and you want to be 100% around the farm, living around the farm, then you can become your own supervisor as well, your manager as well. Then you get 2 attendants instead. If you're working beyond 5 acres, you get your own attendant, you get 2 attendants, and then you become the manager yourself. Beautiful. That will nothing elucidate you. Every day, you give attendant paper, they write things in paper, and then they give it to you, and then you convert them digitally into your spreadsheet, into your drive, into whatever software tools you use to keep track of your day-to-day activities. There are farm software that you can use, but because they are a bit too expensive for Nigeria right now, I advise you just use what you can make do with. All that one side. You've gotten the land, you've gotten the suckers, either you multiplied or you purchased it, you've planted it, you're managing every day, weekly, your farms keep it neat and disease and pest free. After you're done, you've waited now, you've put the framework in place. You have an attendant that's taking care of a lot of things, you have a manager system in place. All of these are perfected. What do you now do next? You wait for harvest. See, the plantain bunch start coming out in between the 8, 9, 10 months after planting. Typically 56 leaves per plant. Is it 56? Around there's a certain number of leaves. I can't really pinpoint it right now that your plantain must come out with before you start bringing out bunch. There's a range of it. So once that happens, it happens within 8 to 10 months, depending on the breed of the plantain you've planted. So once that starts coming out, will it be by 11, 12 months, your plantain should be ready for harvest. Once you harvest it, take note that you don't want to keep your plantain down. It's going to get ripe. So before you start going close to harvest, you need to have partners. Depending on the side of farm you're doing, you need to understand, are you going for the open market or for the closed market? What is the open market? Simple. Open market is the normal market a lot of us see around. If you're in Lagos, that covers Weibo market, that covers Mile 12 market, that covers Ilepo market, that covers Paja market, that covers Arena, that covers Makoko market, and so on and so forth. These are open market systems. Open market is just where everybody bring in things anyhow and then they come and sell. Don't get it twisted. This market has structures, crazy structures. I have sold several things in open market. They have crazy structures. You come in, there's a station, you pay for Shombi fee, you pay for market maintenance fee, you pay for several fees, and then most importantly, you don't even be the one, you don't even get to sell your products most of the time. You have to use a market liaison to sell some of your products. It depends on what you're bringing anyway, but most of the time in the market liaison to sell some of these things you're selling. Because I'm into the perishable system, that is how it works. Right, but if you're in the let's say non-perishable system, it's a bit more flexible and better than that because you target the wholesalers instead, and their own things are a bit less stringent as it is with the perishable items, and that's because perishable goods is working with time. Pardon me, your sales is working part time. So if any time you're wasting, it is time your goods are being at risk. So perishable markets are more fast moving and very, very strict compared to the non-perishable open market system. So that is open markets. Now you can that's like your bedroom. If you can't sell to closed market, open market is your bedroom. You sell to the open market. Now, when you're selling to open market, typically, if I don't know how other states work, because to be honest, I've not really sold in states markets. But typically in Lagos, sales happen typically around 3, 4, 5 a.m. in the morning. If your market is paying to 7 a.m. in the morning, that's a big red flag. So you need to make sure that your sales have happened before 6, 7 a.m. in the morning, and then you've sold everything you brought to the market. And sales happen on that different level. There's the first buyer, there's the second buyer, there's the third buyer. So it's more like several retail chain after the wholesale chain. So you need to quickly sell to the first retail chain so you can be out of the market. You are not there to sell. Of course, you make more money if you can sell directly if you can act as the third retail chain. That means if you come in with your product from the house, if you have a way to make the link work, and you decide you want to sell directly to consumer that come to buy, or street retail chain that wants to come and buy, you'll make more because then you'll be selling your plantain bunch like 1,500-2,000, which will be a very great sales offer. But then the battery would have afford to get to that space, government would have given you, or will give you migraine, like literally. And if you can do that, beautiful. If you can't, you have to sell to the first retail chain where you're selling at wholesale price, and that is all. So that is the summary of how the open market work. In the closed market system, it's simple. You had an agreement that had gone into paper with someone before the day of the harvest, and then the person has told you, okay, I'm willing to buy, bringing in 10 tons of this plantain to my factory, and I will pay you either a postpaid agreement or a prepaid agreement. These are simple terms. If sometimes some of them are post priced, some of them are fixed price, some are flexible price. Fixed price in terms of we are buying a bunch at 500 naira per bunch beforehand, and it has to weigh an average of 10 to 12 kg. So if it doesn't weigh within those 10 to 12 kg, it's not viable. Now you may wonder, how would they check all the bunch like that? Will they check 2,000 bunch like that one after the other? No, that's not how they do sampling. So know that it meets the requirement. They do sampling and pick at random 10 bunch and then see if it's between 100 kg and 120 kg. If it's in that range, they assume that every other thing is right, and then the agreement of the fixed price works. They pay 500 naira per bunch, or they pay per kg. Now, that is one level. The flexible system is we'll pay at the prevailing market price when you're selling it. So if you're selling it in January, the prevailing market price system for the closed market system at that period is what they buy. If you're bringing it in March, they buy at the price that's prevalent in March. And this is closed market system. When you come, the only good thing about it is that you don't need to be stressing yourself to sell. You can easily sell without much stress. But the bad news about closed system is that usually the price might not favor like the open market, but then you get, if you look at how much carve in at the end of the day, minus logistics and everything, you realize that there's more money in closed market system, even though it looks cheaper than the open market system. The closed market system is reliable. The open market is not reliable. Closed is reliable. Open is not reliable. Open can fluctuate as energy comes in, but closed system, usually the fluctuation in closed system is quite minimal and is not as grievous as open market. At some point, open market will be so high compared to, because they have different price system. They both have different price system, but it fluctuates differently. Open markets at some point, like 6-7 months ago, plantain was being sold at 2,000 naira at first retail. Like first retail, not even the third retail. That means third retail are buying like 3,000, 4,000. That's what third retails were buying it at. First was buying at like 2,000. Now, this is how plantain fluctuates in the open market system. But in the closed market system, it doesn't really go too up. It doesn't really go too down. So that one is more stable to calculate your profit margin from. And those that are doing farming on 100 acres system don't dabble with open markets. They just go straight to closed market system, which that is where we play in the closed market system. We usually don't play a lot in the open market system. We play in the closed market system. And that is how you want to make your sales. After you make your sales, you gather your money in, you calculate the best way to utilize it. What goes after you move your operating costs for the next year for expansion, then you take in your own net profits, and then you continue the cycle like that. Now, consistently staying stable on this pathway of expansion is how you build sustainable wealth. And before you know, you could start with 1 acre, you could start 5 acre, but in no time you're covering 100 acres of farm with plantain, and that is where the wealth comes in from. That is wealth. Wealth is a system. It's not a one-time thing. It's a system that generates consistent riches from time to time, and that is how you can get it sorted. Now, how do you now target and get open to the export market? Now, this is it. Most of the time, when you start, you don't have enough money to personally process what you want to do or what you're doing. It's understandable. There's no big deal about that. Everybody starts from somewhere. Now, that's where you partner with those. And when you're selecting your partner, carefully select those that have international prospects. It might not come easy initially, but as you go on and on in the business, you will get to meet people that are in that space. Gradually make the shift to those that are internationally inclined. As you align with them, the more you equally meet more people. And that way to improve your international portfolio is to go on plantain events. There are a number of them that happens annually. Go for them, specify plantain, go for them, network, drop your complimentary card, collect as many as you can as well, follow them up and build relationship with them. Of course, I correct right now, Nigeria is we are one of the major producers in the world. We are number 4 in Africa, number 7 globally. And but in terms of exports, Nigeria is not even in top 10. In terms of those that export plantain that export it out of their primary country, we are not in the top 10. That is how back. I was not really that it's back. We consume a lot. Most of our plantain is not even enough for our full consumption, talk of even now exporting it. That everything Nigeria produces is not enough for Nigeria. It's just that to engage and benefit from the international market is why we export a lot of things, because there's a lot of revenue. If you can get it right, there's more money dealing with the international space, because most of those things are done in dollars. And because Nigerian value system keep going down, it keeps plummeting, it makes more sense to collect value in dollars. And so that is how the opportunities span out. But basically, you're not going to achieve all of this thing in one day. If you're lucky, you're looking at 4-5 years to perfect your models in it. If you're working with an existing framework, you're looking at 2 to 3 years. And if you guys work on a framework where you have partners that have a good framework. But if you're not doing that, or you're doing it on your own, and you don't have a lot of framework in place, you're creating your framework yourself and perfecting it yourself, you're looking at 5 to 10 years to achieve all of what I'm seeing in this call. What I'm saying is, because it's wealth you're building, you should not be in a haste. Take your time, make it work. Of course, this is not an heavily production focused webinar. It's everything in between to ensure that you have and maximize the best of the system. If you know what this is, if you know how to go about this, then you're starting to get results. Now, you want to have a planner. This is rainy season already. If you don't, you have to buy land. All of that, I tell people, I say one of the commodities that's going to become very expensive in Nigeria very soon is land. And it's not rocket science. You see, people usually hear that by 2015, Nigeria will be 400 million or more. And they're like, are you serious? Would they be the one to multiply us? I won't lie, that's just ignorance, because the same United Nations predicted in the early 2000s that by 2020s that Nigeria as a country would have exceeded 200 million by 2020. Now, 200 million that I say we will exceed by 2020, we exceeded it in 2017. 16-17 is where we exceeded 200 million. And they say we're going to exceed it at 2020, and we exceeded it 3 to 4 years before that period. What I'm trying to tell you is that now they are saying that we're going to exceed 400 million by 2050. Well, if the past is going to inform us, then we should know that they are not joking, that we are going to either exceed it before that period or we're going to exceed at that period. And if that is the case, 400 million in this, if you've seen the US, you know that US is almost half the continent of North America, and they are less than 300 million plus, they're less than 400 million, and they are in that space. Now, look at Nigeria. Now imagine you have more than that millions, under 4 million in this Nigerian space. Everybody will need a space to call their own. And it's not rocket science to know that one of the things that will be heavily dealt with is land. And that's why those in real estate are cashing out. I won't lie, I don't blame them, because they've seen ahead into the fact that this is going to be an issue. So they've gotten land and they are primarily selling it out and stuff, which is a business model as well. There's no big deal. People will always buy and sell land till their kingdom come. What I'm saying is, because this land will keep getting competitive, it will become expensive. Very soon, the future of farming will be for those that have land. Now, those that don't have land, it's not cheap to set up hydroponics and vertical farming, which we'll talk about some other day, if I feel like just sharing wealth of information. Of course, I could talk about vertical farming, hydroponics, and the rest of them, but they are not easy to set up. I've got international exposure about all of these things, and I can tell you that it's no joke. As a matter of fact, greenhouse farming is still very expensive. We set up greenhouse farming for people, but it's still very expensive, despite the fact that this is almost close to a decade it was brought down to Nigeria by the Germans. It's still expensive. You will still need about 500,000 to 4 million, depending on the kind of greenhouse you're doing, to construct a single greenhouse, except you're doing a termite can eat greenhouse. Yes, then you may be spending maybe 250,000, 300,000. But if you're creating a greenhouse that is going to last you minimum 2-3 years, you're looking at 500,000 to 4 million, depending on the materials you'll be choosing to use. So even at that, it is still expensive. But thank God for Germans, when they came in, they subsidized all of these things. So it allows the price shock to go down as much as possible. But out of all of that, you should know that land is no big. And perennial project requires land. I've not seen someone planting yet on vertical farming or whatever. Perennial projects, any of them they have a primary need of land. So land is the battleground, is the field battleground for the future of this farming system. So right now, if you don't have, get one. If you feel like, oh, our land, I would have to come and get under us, but our lands are not for open use. If you buy a land, we are the one that try to set up the farm for you, because we have a framework and we don't allow people to distort that framework. And if we allow people to come and farm themselves on it, it will distort our framework. And because they will say, this is how I want my farm to look like, that's how I want it to look like. We're the one that buy all the produce in our estate, so we don't want people to come and distort the framework. But outside that, you can get your own land, you can buy suckers from us. Our suckers are multiplied suckers, so they are disease-free. When you buy already made suckers, most of them, if you're not very careful, you buy diseased suckers, because the disease that the mother has before dying is transferred to the baby suckers. And if you transfer to baby suckers and you go and transplant them to your farm, you would only carry disease from your place and take it to your new farm site, which you now go and spread. And most of the disease of plantain comes with nematode and virus. So you don't want to transfer this from one place to another. Ours is multiplied, so we actually check for these things, sterilize and kill these things first before we multiply the suckers and bring them out. We are going to sell that to you at a very discount, depending on where you're coming from. But other than that, our farmland, if you are now looking at, okay, you're willing to come into our framework and blend with us, beautiful. We are willing to sell land to you. Our lands are very affordable, but I'm not saying the cheapest out there. You can also find some that are cheaper it's possible. But that is how it works. You want to make sure that you have good foresight in place. 4 million people, we need all their space. Now we need more food, more housing, more clothing. There's going to be a lot of things. 4 million people is going to increase the demand. So what you want to do is you want to start early now and meet up that period. Because when that time comes, you would have planned yourself into that framework and you'll be left behind. So this is all the summary that there is. I think we are going to be taking questions and answers right now. I want to, of course, I'll be giving a little more brief. I should be running up in the next 3 minutes. But if you have any question, kindly go to the chat messages where we kept our contacts, our phone numbers, and emails for you to interact with and start dropping your questions there. If you've not filled your details in our form, after this call, she'll kindly drop the link to the form as well in the chat messages. Kindly fill your name in our form. We have podcasts that we share from time to time as regarding farming as a business. And then I personally host the podcast. I start Business Reality with Adini Shuremi. So you can always come on that podcast and to come and engage and know more about how to handle the business side of farming. If you're an investor, you want to be an investor in the farming system, things you need to know, how you need to go about different things, you get it from that podcast. I will probably try to post the link on that place so you can interact with it. Sean post the link where you can register. If you register, we can easily send you this email and even our newsletter as well. New opportunities in the system, you get to have that. But we need to have information to send you all of that. So once the link is posted in the in-chat messages, kindly take it up and fill your details. If you have any question, kindly post them in the chat messages. And once the availability is made, to say them out loud, of course, Sean is going to come in during that period and coordinate how that happens. Kindly unmute and give us your question or ask your question, and we're going to be willing and happy to answer as many of them as possible. All our webinar videos, if you didn't get one thing in this message or you feel like information has elucidated you or you're missing one or two informations, we always upload our webinars on YouTube. So you can always pick them on YouTube after a day. A day to 2 days, you can have access to them and then you can interact with them and learn from them again and pick one or two things. If you want to share them with somebody that I feel like, oh, there's somebody that would need this information that I think it's going to be very great for, you can always pick the link from the YouTube and share with them as much as possible. As I said, if you want to buy land at farm estate, all you need to do is you need to just indicate on that as well. You could ask questions regarding that as well. There's no problem. We have different packages for our farmland. Currently, our farmland option is exhausted already. We only have farm now in Ogun State now. So if you want to get that, you indicate you want to get that, and then we'll give you WordPress is as well. It's always important to tell us where you got our information from. We always like knowing who referred you to us, so we can appreciate them both in words and in every other means we can, because it's very important. We count ourselves as a business that grows based on referral. We actually are referral inclined, and so because of that, we always try to want to know who give these words out to people and how they are engaging with us. With all of these statements, thank you so much for coming on this. And then if you have any questions, let us know. If you don't have any questions, stay and listen to the questions that are asked by others. You may not know what to ask, but when someone else asks their question, you may pick up one or two things that will be very, very viable and useful to you as well. And then you can improve your knowledge. Nobody's an island or island of information. We all are bits by bits that come together to form the perfect island with the right information. So that's it basically. Thank you everyone for staying through the information period and the webinar period. Sean is going to be handling the question and answers right now. Thank you, Sean. Over to you.
Okay, confirm. Okay, thank you so much, sir. It's been a wonderful time out with you, and I believe most of the information that you've actually given right here, a wealth of information that we can use to actually make many gains from the agricultural sector. One of the things that I will want to hold onto is when you said, cash out fast with real estate, and even one of the silent ways to cash out even faster is through farmland real estate, cashing out through farmland real estate. Why? You get to make double the profits. Your land will keep appreciating. You get to earn valuation from that. And also, while your land is appreciating, you would also be making a good sort of income from whatsoever you grow on it. This is not what you can compare to if you were just doing the normal real estate where you would need to develop the land or just buy the land under a land banking system. So it's kind of a double wealth, double sustainable wealth for you to actually make quite a lot of value from farmland real estates. So, but it all boils down to your agricultural vision as an individual. So, what's your agricultural vision? If you have any questions with regards to today's webinar, please do ask. Now is the time that we want to do well to ensure that everyone can express themselves with regards to inquiries, questions. Mr. Nee is still with us. So if you have a questions, there are two ways that we can go about this. You can either unmute yourself and ask the questions directly, or you could leave them on the in-call messages of the platform. So you could just go on the in-call messages and type it there, and they'll be addressed. And if you don't want to do that method, you could also just unmute yourself and ask that question straight away. So at the in-call messages. So while we wait for, if you have any questions, please just unmute yourself and ask those questions straight away. Uh, but while we wait, I just want to bring to the information of everyone that we've got our contact phone number and emails. You could do well to reach us from there. You could contact the company Dofma Integrated Agritech Services from any one of those channels of communication. You could do well to also register with us right there on the link posted on the in-call messages. You could do well to reach out to us from there. You could go ahead, check us out on social media, Google us. Google is a friend of everyone. Of course, you don't want to, there's so many businesses out there. One of the ways for you to be able to sieve out the genuine from the fake is you can use Google, you can use social media. These are tools that are out there for you to use. You could easily check out the viability of every one of the companies that you want to work with. Also, we're registered under the CAC. We've got our CHC registration. You could go ahead to confirm on the platform also. So check us out on social media: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. We don't have a Twitter account yet, but it's coming. It's fast coming up. So we also have that of YouTube. You could check us out there, Dofma NG, or you pronounce it all together. It's Dofmang, but it's Dofma NG. So just type Dofma NG on any of the platforms: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. You get to see us there. So, is there any questions? Any questions? Any inquiries? Please do express yourself. Now is the time for you to find out what questions are in line with your agricultural desire, your agricultural vision. Planting might be part of it, and there might be one or two things that you want to also find out. Mr. Dini is here with us to quickly attend to those questions. So within the next couple of seconds, if you do have a question, please just unmute yourself and ask straight away or use the in-call messages before we call tonight's session a quit. Okay. In the absence of any questions tonight, we want to thank everyone who has made themselves available for tonight's webinar. Tonight's webinar is a success largely because of you, not because of me, not because of Mr. Adeni, not because of Dofma, but because of you, because your participation here is what gave meaning to what we are actually making available to us all tonight. So thank you so much for being a part of this webinar. We'll be doing well to also reach out to you as part of our normal routine follow-ups. So you get to also get more from us. You may receive our newsletters, you may receive our subscriptions. You get to find out industry-related information that are useful to you. Information related to DOFMA, information related to agriculture, and how you can indeed make quick sustainable wealth through agriculture. So these are some of the benefits that you would gain for being a part of this webinar tonight. So we want you to also spread the word, spread the name. We're giving out value, we're giving out valued content just to make sure that everyone is able to make it big in agriculture. So we thank you so much for being a part of tonight's program. We should just as an extra information, we should be having another webinar in on that's on Friday. So do also be on the lookout. We should be having one more webinar, and I'm not going to disclose what the topic is, but do well to be on the lookout. You receive information with regards to that webinar before Friday. So do well to spread the word, invite people. We are Nigerians. Don't be part of those people that you would have information that can enable your neighbor make wealth from agriculture and you keep it to yourself. Call them to it, let them get the information just as much as you're getting it. In that way, you would have helped the other person. Dofma is digitizing agriculture. We're helping to make everyone make the best from agriculture. So we thank you so much for being with us. We thank you so much. I would have loved to call names, but we're quite much here tonight, and I don't want to take much time. So we thank you so much for being here. We look forward to seeing you again on Friday. And on any of our other social media platforms or anywhere else, you could contact us via email, via call. We do well to attend to you. So till Friday, please do well to have a good night, have a great week ahead, and see you soon next time. So, thank you so much for being around. Good night.
Yeah, good night, Sam.
And good night.